So I've been making videos about how Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong, and not just wrong, but like Trump level wrong about certain things in an interview that he gave on NPR. But I want to skip right to the thing that he said that was the worst, even though he said it last. So in case you don't watch the whole video, you know what I'm talking about. You don't need to understand science and math to understand this video. But yeah, all the other stuff was about space, and who cares? It doesn't really affect us how wrong we are about space, but it does affect us how wrong we are about this planet and the people on it. And Neil deGrasse Tyson said something terrible at the end of his interview, saying that because the left says the right is anti-science when the right is against uh, doing anything about global warming, they deny climate change. Neil deGrasse Tyson said, but the left believes in feathers and crystals and horoscopes, and that's not science either. As if to say that these are the same thing, as if it's the same danger of believing in horoscopes that it is to deny climate change. When denying climate change can destroy life on the planet, and believing in horoscopes isn't hurting anybody. Not only that, magic and things like that could be things that science just doesn't understand yet. Any type of future technology brought back into the past would appear as magic. So magic can just be, science we haven't discovered yet. But climate change is not. That's denying climate change. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is helping them do that by saying, oh, it's just as bad to believe in crystals or rocks as it is to deny climate change. So it makes him a climate change denier and shows he's on that agenda. But he seemed to have some other agendas in his explanations of things as well. And it might not just be him, this might be consensus science. But it reminds me, rest in peace to Higgs, the guy who invented the Higgs boson. He recently passed away. He discovered or theorized the Higgs boson in 1964, and they didn't prove it till 2000 something, which just goes to show how long it takes science to accept new ideas. But it's even worse when they're hostile to new ideas, such as aliens. Somebody asked him about frequent radio bursts, and he said when we first discovered these, if there was a suggestion that it could be aliens, but if we'd stopped at thinking that and just said, well, it's just aliens, then we wouldn't have discovered quasars. Now, his logic then was we have to rule out everything else before we even consider aliens. Where in some cases, especially where aliens might be involved, considering aliens or being able to approach alien technology and understanding would greatly advance science. But denying that aliens exist and knowing that he's part of the agenda to both deny climate change and deny aliens means he's buying into lies. They probably know aliens exist, but they're trying to deny them to prevent the things that we'll learn when we learn about aliens, which is just morally reprehensible and terrible and evil. But there you go, it's what they do. Then the other things that he talked about were black holes and the end of the universe. And black holes are something I've always suspected Stephen Hawking was wrong about, and he finally admitted he was wrong a few years before he died. But sometimes our intuition about things is right. Like the Big Bang is bullshit. I've always thought since the 80s, since hearing about the Big Bang, that it's just a projection of masculine ideas, patriarchal instruments, and perspectives to suggest that something exploded and created everything, instead of looking at it from a feminine perspective of ever existence and it's never going to end, stuff like this, or it, evolves and permeates in different ways. But looking at the opposite of the way you assume it's going to be can actually reveal great truths. But the way they assume it's going to be, even though they've adjusted the Big Bang to say there's many Big Bangs or something else, but still not, actually questioned it, or reconsidered the principle, they're saying, well, the Earth, the universe will spread out or will rip itself to shreds. And like both of those are, again, violent, conflictory ideas that are more masculine and patriarchal, that everything has to go the way, patriarchal systems go, instead of thinking about the way things really could be. His ideas about black holes were equally ridiculous, but he said, you know, they're portals to other dimensions and can totally accept those science fiction ideas, but not aliens. It just shows where his loyalties lie